We're here because we're humans and we believe in the right.
There is blood on the hands of EATON Mission Systems. It makes 21 different components for the Black Hawk helicopter.
We're the solution because we don't trust our leaders.
EATON Mission Systems, as Joe has described, make the parts for the Sikorsky Black Hawk helicopter, the Lockheed Martin C-130, the Sikorsky CH-53 helicopter, all used in the mass targeting and killing of Palestinian civilians in Gaza.
Sometimes it's a wounded child on a hospital bed with the letters WCNSF written in marker on their arm. Wounded child, no surviving family.
I want to talk about the 31,000 Palestinians killed, including who's still under the rubble.
The only reason the UK planes were able to bomb Yemen was because of the parts made here in Wimborne.
Obviously, you don't have to be Palestinian to stand with the Palestinian people. You just need to be human.
The United Nations have effectively declared famine conditions in Gaza. And we've seen the IDF systematically and deliberately target civilians, hospitals, water supplies, bakeries, schools, mosques, universities, churches. 2/3 of the buildings in North Gaza destroyed or damaged, 33% across the Gaza Strip.
If you're willing to stand up for peace and freedom, then you're welcome here.
And we are here to give our support to people who have their hearts broken and their lives broken.
This country, between 2015 and 2022, licensed at least £474 million worth of military exports to Israel.
EATON Mission Systems are profiting from genocide.
Israel has turned off the fresh water supply to 2 million civilians in Gaza. And yet they have the cold, calculated brutality to resupply their own troops with fresh water.
I know they are in better place now, better than this cruel war. We're asking for a ceasefire, and stopping this genocide is still debatable.
For over 3 months, we've been asking the international community, all the governments, all the people of the world to stop the genocide going on in Palestine. The children are being killed day after day after day.
The US, Britain, Europe have suspended the financing of the UN Refugee Organization. That's the response to the ruling from the ICJ.
If you build parts for planes which kill people, you are not welcome here.
Same court asked for immediate ceasefire for Ukraine, but they decided to give a whole month to the criminals to adjust, knowing that they are not going to adjust, knowing that they are not going to do anything.
They love talking about British values, don't they? They love talking about international law. Oh yes, they're very keen to say that the Houthis, the brave Houthis, are breaking international law. The hypocrisy knows no bounds.
I want to talk about one of the Israeli ministers saying that they should drop a nuclear weapon in Gaza and simply getting away with that with no action taken against him.
War is a business, killing is a business, bombs are a business, weapons is a business.
Our governments are arming the genocide. US bombs, some of them 2,000 pounders, are being used in Gaza as we speak.
In 3 months, more than 30,000 people killed. So within the next month, we're allowing Israel to kill at least 10,000 more people.
And that's why we're marching today, to highlight where
just want to ask from human to human, just to close your eyes and imagine your child, father, mother, injured and being helpless because hospitals are shutting down and you cannot do anything about it. You cannot leave the borders because they are closed. Just tell me how you would feel.
We do live in a corporate world, like I said, and war is just a business. We, the people, need to realize this and stand together against war. We need to stand for humanity, for everyone, regardless of religion, ethnicity, culture, country.
Every single one of the 72 licenses that EATON mission systems applied for to supply arms to Israel has been agreed. Why is it? I'll say this, you see. It's because Israel is vital to these powers, to our governments, to these imperialist powers. It's a fortress of imperialist interests in the Middle East.
So the only hope left for us, for me at least for today, is to have the faith in us, in people. I lost faith in governments. The Western world, all the ideologies, the ethics they spoke about, now we know it doesn't exist.
Because we know that Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer are not going to stop the export licenses. They support Israel and they want to make profit. They don't care about us and they don't care about people in Gaza.
I have no faith in any government standing with Palestinians. The one thing I hope for from the International Court of Justice case is the people around the world is opening their eyes to what is truly happening and help us to achieve justice.
So obviously us standing here today means that we realize that, and we're working to raise awareness so that everyone else can understand this, so we can stand with the oppressed and end wars around the world.
Where do those demonstrations lead? I think they have to lead to a number of things. More militancy, more radicalism. If they won't shut it down, we need to shut it down. We need the occupation of statehood. We need the occupations that we've seen. We need the militancy on the streets. We need the radicalism. And we need to build towards shutting the system down.
I have no faith in any court, even the Court of Justice. I have no faith on them because they let us down. We've been let down. People in Gaza have been let down.
And we have to make them care and we have to show with our actions that change can come about.
We need to go back into our workplaces, into our colleges, into our universities and communities. And we need to argue and persuade, but above all, we need to bring more people into the fight.
And recently they have been involved in the production of parts and fuel systems for Boeings and other planes that have been involved in bombing in Yemen as well as in Gaza. Historically, they have a huge amount of blood on their hands. We are not okay with them being here, and we're here to tell them that they're not welcome and that they need to go.
Because we need to get to the root of the genocide, to the existence of a state founded on dispossession, on the Nakba, and on racism.
Yesterday, the International Court of Justice ruled that there were grounds to say that Israel is committing genocide. We are now awaiting the outcome of their full investigation, and God knows how long that will take. It wasn't the result we wanted because they did not call for a ceasefire and they let us down. But what they did say was very strict and damning, and Israel is complied by is required by international law to comply with what the ICJ has said. Essentially, they have to stop all their attacks on civilians because there is a risk that they amount to genocide. They have to let aid in. They have to stop preventing people from living in Gaza.
Talk to your workmates. Collect for medical aid for Palestine. Discuss what you can do on the day. Can you walk out at lunchtime and have a meeting or a discussion? Can you have a protest, a selfie, whatever fits? If you have to start small, and we'll build from there. Today is Holocaust Memorial Day. I'll say this as a Jew. Two things. One, the lesson I draw from the Holocaust is this. I don't support the Palestinians in spite of the Holocaust. I support the Palestinians because of the Holocaust.
Every nation that has been supporting Israel and supplying arms to them and funding them is involved, is culpable for that genocide charge. The UK government that has been supporting Israel by continuing to do so from today onwards could also be tried for genocide. EATON systems, if they continue to supply parts or any kind of equipment to the Israeli army, are in breach of international law according to the ICJ ruling yesterday.
And I believe that cry we've shouted today, from the river to the sea, that cry is a cry of freedom. It's a cry of freedom, of course, above all, for the Palestinians. But why are millions across the world responding to it? Because they feel in their hearts it's a cry of freedom for them, for a world without racism, oppression, war, the rise of fascism, Islamophobia and the far right.
We don't know what Israel are going to do in response to this ruling. We can all be fairly sure that they are not going to suddenly down their weapons and play nice, because they haven't done that for decades and decades and decades. We know that the Israeli agenda is for genocide. This is not an accident. They are killing 118 children a day, and they are using systems and weapons and finance that's coming from our country.
Let's build the movement where we are. That's how mass movements are built. We mobilise nationally at a huge level, and then we go back locally and we build. We root the movement down at the base. We're going to build our movement. We are going to fight for Palestine to be free across the Middle East, in Palestine itself, from the river to the sea and here. And we're going to fight here, in the heart of the beast, in Britain, in the US, the biggest military powers in history. We're going to fight here to shut them down.
We are all involved in this. If we don't stand up, we have blood on our hands. If we don't say no, if we don't say never again for anyone on this Holocaust Memorial Day, if we don't make a stand, then we have blood on our hands too. So by being here today, we are part of the solution. We are part of the call for peace.
Shut down the arms industry to Israel. Shut down the arms supplies for genocide. Boycott, divestment, sanctions. If they don't do it, we will have to.